Greetings! What is up, and a very warm welcome to the channel. The sun is shining and the magpie is casting. Coming to you all this lockdown Monday, what are we on now? 17th of August, 2020, with, well, we're going to start off with some Deserts of Karak today. Hopefully got a zinger of a replay loaded up and ready to go, and then after that we're going to jump in for a little bit more Company of Heroes 2 live game casting. What's up, everybody in chat? Thank you very much for joining me this Monday. It's been another incredibly busy week in the life of Magpie here. But luckily enough, I do still have time for a little bit of casting today, and man, have I been looking forward to it. This is like a sort of an oasis of fun, a sort of a beacon of light that has been sort of drawing me through the week. It's just like relentless amounts of work at the moment, but such is life. As I have a sip on my chilled beverage in anticipation of today's real-time strategy action. So, let's go ahead and launch Deserts of Karak here, and we'll get ready to hop into our game. Goodness knows what we've got, goodness knows which players we've got, but it's another of the spicy replay pack that A-Game Anx provided for me, so thank you once again to A-Game, really appreciate that. It's made casting this amazing game so much easier for me to do. So, let's have a look at here, replays. Alright, looks like we've got a Torrin Crater game. Okay, cool. Oh, between A-Game Anx and Discara. This one should be good. Okay, alright, let's go ahead and bring everybody into the game here. Here we go. Alrighty. Torrin Crater, A-Game Anx versus Discara. Really doesn't get much. I mean, this is one of my all-time favorite maps in the game. It's not necessarily the best or the most balanced map, but I just love it. Something about the design of this map I do really like. And it looks like, well, I'll just wait for these players. Wait for this replay to load. There we go. All right. So spawning in the south here, playing as the Black Galzian forces. It is going to be none other than A-Game Anx. And spawning in the north, playing as the Coalition forces in the sky blue, it's going to be Discara, and I mean, it's difficult to think of a more iconic matchup than that between A-Game Anx and Discara. These two have been just two of the most skilled and highly talented and winningest players throughout the entire history of Homeworld Deserts of Karak, right from the early days. I think some of the first top level games I saw in this game were between these two players, and they really have sort of defined the meta in their various ways. I mean, it hasn't just been them, of course, you know, but they have defined the meta in their ways through various stages of the history of this game. So they really do know what they're doing. They've played each other so many times in high-level tournament scenarios, and also just in practice games. These guys, they do have practice sessions, and occasionally streamed as well, which are always fun to watch. So there is quite a good level of sort of knowledge between these two players. They are sort of almost practice partners, if you like. So I don't know that they practice super regularly all the time for every event or anything like that, but they definitely do practice together. So, yep, there's something special when you get two RTS players who have practiced together. You do get a sort of special kind of magic, just because there's an extra layer of mind games and reads, and you know, just, I don't know, there's always just something special when the two players know each other a little better. So looks like the probe here for Discara gonna fly on over, gets a sight on what's going on here for A-Game. I haven't actually been paying too close of attention. It is going to be a refinery mode coming up here for A-Game, so no shenaniganry to go into the super early stages of this game, I don't think. Let's just check what's going on here for Discara. So we've got AAV fabrication coming out now, so this looks, unless Discara goes into like straight AAVs, this should be a pretty respectful opening here, which is what I see most of the time between these two players. I mean, sometimes there's a little bit of an early poke or an attempt at getting something done, but usually these two players do just sort of go for the respectful opening and move into a sort of fairly stable early game, and the game often goes on to the later stages, which is nice. for us as observers, to say the least. So it looks like the base runner here for A-Game, is that A-Game? Yeah, is actually going to grab this artifact that is closest to Discara, so that's pretty cool, being able to get away with that one there. That is unlikely to be punished. There's an LAV heading over to the base runner, but it's not going to get there in time, and it doesn't have the damage to stop that one. Hey, what's up, Coercer? Good to see you, friend. So, yep, that'll be a quick 1-0 lead here for A-Game. There's a base runner here moving out for Discara as well. I'm going to pick up an artifact here momentarily. And various strike craft here moving out for the two players, providing some much needed sensor coverage. This drone still providing or this probe I should say, still providing a good amount of coverage. Here we have the first shots fired in anger here as the LAV catches up to the base runner. I'm going to start tickling away there with its chain gun there, but a couple of sound skimmers should be able to ward this one off, and in any case there isn't enough damage to prevent this base runner from scoring, so that'll be 1-0. Now it looks like center artifacts there. Come on, let's get this one on camera. There we go, very nice. So the central artifact then is grabbed by Discara, and he's going to look to exfiltrate that one here. A couple of AAVs going to be moving in to defend the base runner. Let's quickly check the tech here. So we've got Siege Cruiser Fab coming down already from A-Game. That's going to finish up pretty quick. Wow, that is a rapid lunge into Siege Cruiser tech. And so, okay, that should be pretty spicy. Wow, yes, we've got one assault ship out. Assault ships are being built, but man, this is going to be some fast siege cruiser tech. Keep an eye on the production tab to see exactly when A-Game is able to get one of those cruisers. There it is, onto the production tab. Okay, wow, that is fairly... Wow, doesn't this just leave you like a little bit vulnerable? I mean, what if Discara has gone for... I mean, I guess you would see the fighter and gunship Fab. And there's quite a chain of AAVs. I'm just concerned if Discara had gone for some sort of air tech, then like this leaves you super vulnerable. But I guess you're not really, you don't have a position on the map really that you're holding, so you can just sort of cluster around the carrier and the production cruisers for anti-air to begin with, and then respond with appropriate units and tech if the threat persists. So anyway, there goes the artifact being scored by Discara. That's going to draw the scoreline at 1-1. A couple of sound skimmers going to come in for a little bit of a poke here, see what they see, try and get some information about what's going on here, so that A-Game can move into the later stages of this game a little bit more prepared. Siege Cruiser is now out on the battlefield, and A-Game going up to 3 mining locations after this is going to be the next call of business. The production cruiser on the queue there. Is this the next support cruiser? Yep, so looks like Discara, probably with a slight economic lead, is going to have salvagers working at that third site, just a little bit ahead of A-Game, I believe, but that's, you know, that's fine. Not a massive advantage. Okay, so we've got the 4 assault ships here. They're just going to be holding the line for now against what is a probing attack force here, but nothing too bothersome. We've got 4 AAVs, of course. Now, where is that siege cruiser going? Oh, it's still chilling out by the carrier, so he's going to be able to task that siege cruiser with coming on over here, and that is actually going to be effective against the AAVs. They are relatively sluggish. It's quite difficult for them to shirk the indirect fire from the siege cruiser, and indeed it looks like smoke has been popped. A couple of lasers hitting home onto these assault ships. We really want the focus fire to come down here. That's not like A-Game to be spreading his fire there. If you imagine all of this damage being on this AAV, it may already be dead, or on death's door. It looks like a turret is deployed here in a nice position. Whoa, A-Game is actually going to push the turret. This was not what I expected. The siege cruiser is still a little ways out. Oh god, yeah, he does get the turret, that's essential, but now it's a 4-on-3, so the turret did provide value there. Now we're up to... well, we'll keep an eye on the production tab here, and we'll see what A-Game's going to follow that one up with. Let's check the Coalition players' tech here. So it looks as though railgun... Oh no, railgun tech is still not done. Neither is missile battery tech. Wow. Both of these players just playing a relatively low tech, or what can I say, like targeted tech game here.
Hostile armor destroyed.
Discara using these AAVs to keep the action on A-Game's side of the map, but once these AAVs get shoved aside, and they will get shoved aside as the siege cruiser starts plying its deadly trade here, Discara is going to have to come up with some sort of a defense force. Discara also has this base runner out on the field grabbing some artifacts, so that is useful. And to be honest, does A-Game really have a fast enough response force to actually stop that artifact? Yeah, probably actually, because Discara has to bring it like all the way around here over to here. So actually, yeah, A-Game could look to camp out the extraction site here with a siege cruiser and a couple of assault ships, and that might be a nice way of finding some value. Discara going to be going for the assault cruiser and a second siege cruiser on the queue here for A-Game. So the arms race underway in no uncertain terms, and the assault cruiser, interesting. I wonder what this is going to be used for.
Defense alert. Enemy armor inbound.
A-Game taking the center of the field right now. Gonna get 2 artifacts. Oh, he's gonna get his second artifact out here, so that'll be nice. Let's just quickly check the tech here, see what's going on. So the siege cruiser range upgrade is gonna finish up soon. Wow, A-Game values the siege cruiser like massively, and that's fair. The siege cruiser is an immensely powerful unit. It is matchup defining in every matchup. It's like super good. So I do get that. Are we on 2 assault cruisers now? Yeah, 2 assault cruisers are out.
Hostile base runner detected.
So the other one's spread here.
Sand skimmer under fire.
And both players, look at how much sensor information that A-Game is working with here. Just an epic concave of blue sensor gathering. Very nice. The probe here is going to be doing the same for Discara, who basically knows everything that he needs to. Wow, the carrier is actually going to come out. Power Reserve level 2 is actually done. Power Reserve level 3 on the way for Discara. So that is where a lot of the resources have been going for the Coalition player. No surprise to see Discara weaponizing that carrier and throwing it out onto the field pretty rapidly. Well, I mean, not super rapidly, but I mean, like, ahead of his Coalition opponent. Now, hang on, the siege cruiser here does get rumbled by a few. This is 2 siege cruisers without too much cover, actually. Somehow the assault cruiser is going to limp out of this fight, I believe, desperately turning to fire on this assault ship. He's actually going to win the exchange, I believe. Meanwhile, the siege cruisers are like super exposed here. There's just no defense. Wow, A-Game committing perhaps a rare error here. Loses the siege cruiser. This assault cruiser surviving on a pixel is frustrating, and giving up both of the siege cruisers here. There was just no cover for them. There was just no cover for them. I'm a little surprised there. A-Game seemingly caught out of position, it seems. I think that the probe from Discara was able to identify a weak point there. Those siege cruisers were looking for damage in a place where there was none to be found, it turns out. And now, looks like railgun tech is here. More siege cruisers on the production, but I mean, god damn, you'd love to have 2 siege cruisers just camped out here, making it really hard for Discara to access the middle of the map. And now things are going to start warming up. Now there's a lot of units out for both players. Now the tech is really starting to fire. Now is when my abilities as a caster are going to be tested. We've got 2 artifacts loaded up into base runners here for Discara. So he's going to look to get those out. Loses one, actually. Sorry. Oh, wow. Hit squad of assault ships here from A-Game is going to take that one out. Meanwhile, on the other extraction site, looks like the assault rails here are going to deal with the only unit that was over there from Discara, a little bit of a scouting LAV. But we're probably going to have a battle either around the extraction site or on A-Game's half of the map. I feel like Discara is calling the shots right now. Discara taking out those 2 siege cruisers, probably going to take a scoreline advantage here. These assault ships are trading so well, though, actually. They're finding a lot of value, and they're going to ward off the base runner here. So, will that necessitate the carrier to come across to try and cover the extraction site? Probably, is the answer. Where's the siege cruiser? Okay, the siege cruiser right now camping out by the carrier. That seems like it would need some orders. I don't think it's doing much good there. And A-Game knows it. He probably needs to task that with coming over. In fact, he doesn't have the best info right now, actually. A-Game just about barely knows that Discara has a concentration of forces here, but you can see A-Game's information is incomplete, and because of that, a large amount of forces for the Gaussian player are like garrisoning the other side of the map, and we know there's nothing there, and I'm sure A-Game would probably rather have those forces to respond or be hitting at weak points. To respond over here or be hitting at weak points back here, but he just doesn't quite have full information. Again, now the sand skimmer starts going in. That's good info. Sand skimmer in mid. So I think, yeah, so now we can start tasking the siege cruisers with responding to this build-up of forces from the coalition player. That makes sense. Assault cruiser and a trio of railguns gonna cover this flank here. Let me just quickly check the tech. Okay, so no sign of air tech here from either player. Upgraded carrier production on the way for the coalition player, so that's going to ramp up production considerably. This has just been a super respectful game. Hit squad of assault railguns going to come in and pick off the artifact carrying base runner there, and that's nice. Could have come in for a lunge over this sand dune to pick up a couple of railguns. A little bit surprised he doesn't. I guess, did he see the support cruiser and wants a piece of that? Perhaps. So, wow, 2-all, 16 minutes 45 seconds remaining in this game. Such a respectful and balanced opening. I mean, really only a slight lead going to Discara, I believe, who has lost, yeah, just slightly fewer resources here. So, I mean, well, I say slightly fewer. That is almost like 50%. Like, A-Game has lost 50% more than Discara has here, so that's pretty good. But I mean, that's really just testament to the fact that very little action has occurred this game. Both players just playing so respectfully, just building and positioning and feinting and falling back and responding and reacting to each other. This is probably, this build-up of arms is going to come to an almighty crescendo. And there's going to be a fat battle taken. I mean, Discara keeps on making land grabs and trying to posture in mid here. A-Game has got this sort of paltry defense force, which is now going to start being used, where heavy railguns are going to acquire. This is a lot of AAVs in the open. Jeez, Discara needs to pop smoke and GTFO. Way too many railguns here. That is the counter for AAVs, so they will have to scurry away, and they will. But some losses taken. The siege cruiser is also in a nice position. They're going to start strafing this this position here, so that's really nice. Discara's position in mid also is not great right now. There's just a lot of railguns in flanking positions, some strike craft here as well. But I mean, occupying mid is actually not super strong on this map. I mean, the lines of sight from mid are actually very restricted. It's useful if you're trying to grab the artifacts, but it's not the best place to take a fight usually. So it looks like Discara is going to reposition his carrier. He's got a big blob of railguns now, actually. Once that upgraded carrier production hits home for coalition forces, it's like they can just churn units out so fast. Okay, some AAVs coming in for a backstab here. Going to split 3 off to come through here, whilst another, what is this, like 5 going to dive through here. Gosh, I don't know why my frame rate is suffering so badly. I apologize for that. That's a little bit weird, but at least it's functional for now.
Gridlock set. Maintain active scans.
Look at this posturing. Both players just poking for weaknesses. How many sand skimmers are there for A-Game right now? Actually, not many. I wouldn't hate him building just like maybe like 8 sand skimmers and just... I was going to say trying to pressure the back door, but this is actually quite a good backdoor squad. But you can actually give this squad the slip. This is not fast. Like, 8 sand skimmers can like flank round. But anyway, I don't want to miss the action here as Discara trying to secure his extraction site here. But A-Game with a decent spread of forces just to make this as annoying as possible. I believe Discara now has the railguns to actually take charge of this area. Pardon me, if he wants to. So... this is super close. The assault railguns are actually going to push through mid to try and pick off this base runner, and that would be nice. I mean, holding this extraction site actually, of course, not very valuable unless you have artifacts to be extracting. And these assault railguns, they're actually going to get a trio of logistics modules here as well. Actually, that's a turret. That's a turret. This is probably still worth losing an assault railgun into a turret for, though. You want to shut down that base runner with the artifacts. Meanwhile, bit of a railgun exchange going on over here. A-Game, oh, here comes the tactical nuke as well. The cruise missile is being launched. Here it comes. Nice hit, that finding some value to say the least. Now that that nut is cracked, Discara has control over his extraction site, but no artifacts to actually make that worthwhile. Man, the siege cruiser though has the coalition carrier down to like 52% HP. I think that was mostly from siege cruiser and railgun hits. Whoa! Sorry. Okay, and just A-Game actually flailing into the back door here as he's like crumping through, displaces the assault cruiser and the railguns. Actually, probably destroys the railguns that were holding this. There's so much going on right now. Okay, we're still good. Okay, so gonna stop mining from the 3rd location. So this is awesome, but pretty ballsy from A-Game. The Gaussian carrier now down on 46%. It is fast enough to escape, as long as he doesn't get cornered. I mean, the Gaussian carrier is a miracle tool. It is such a strong asset to have. Oh my god, he's going to get the support cruiser. Christ, that's scary. He's going to power reserve level 4. Let's just quickly check. Power reserve level 5s are finished for Discara. What the hell was that? Another... Oh no. Okay, so siege cruiser barrages are going to come down here. Just kind of trying to slow the advance of Discara. But we were in this weird situation, man. I don't know about having the Gaussian carrier exposed over here. I mean, it has repairs and he has the weapons. He's actually disrupting a massive amount of mining, so as long as this dynamic continues, A-Game is gaining the advantage, because A-Game is actually still profitably mining here, whereas Discara is not. Discara is actually just not mining now, and that's pretty scary. So Discara has to stop mining here to draw even. That's what has to happen. A lot of railguns firing though. The Coalition carrier has repaired. It is at nearly full health, but this is a difficult place to push into. There's still a lot of siege cruisers, there's still a lot of railguns, which means that A-Game can make it very painful to push for every sort of meter that Discara wants to move in here. He does manage to stop mining at one location, but not two. So that's pretty bad. Sorry, did I say Discara wasn't mining before? He was, of course, mining from this location, my bad. So, okay. A-Game, content with the damage inflicted, gonna extract with the carrier, and that's important. You cannot let the Coalition player trap your carrier back in this area. That would have been just, that would be game over. So, utilizing its ridiculous maneuverability and its repairs, gonna come through there. Did I just miss a missile? No, okay, I thought I might have missed a cruise missile or something. So this assault cruiser is gonna get chewed down by assault railguns. That's that one dealt with. Gaussian carrier just escaping at the moment. He's probably, yeah, he's put like nearly all power into speed. It is so... The Gaussian carrier is super scary, right? Because it hits hard and it's insanely fast and it can regenerate its health insanely fast. And that is a terrifying combo in any RTS game. Any unit that can do those things is scary. So here comes the next tactical missile, and that is going to destroy this attack here. Gadoosh! Wow, just like leveling a lot of value there. Discara is good with those missiles, man. They always seem to strike for good value. The siege cruiser is putting down a ferocious barrage. The Coalition carrier content to keep coming through. The railguns getting punted by all these railguns that Discara has. Sorry, that A-Game has many a time. This actually could be game now. I think Discara is overextending. This Coalition carrier looks dead to me. I have won. The trouble is, on this map, you can kite for so far. Look how much room there is back here that you can work with. And, like, with railguns in this configuration, as long as A-Game doesn't drop the micro, this should be a dead Coalition carrier. He can just focus it down, keep kiting. He needs to keep kiting with the railguns. I'm sure he's microing something else that's very important, but the Gaussian carrier will arrive. That is all the shield that these railguns need. And that should be game. He needs to keep kiting, though. I'm amazed he's kind of letting these railguns get caught. They were stationary for just a second there, and that is fatal. All we have to do is kite to win, I believe. That is my analysis here. The siege cruisers as well, getting a bit close to this Coalition carrier. You have to be careful. The Coalition carrier has so much damage on it. It has actually got one more power level as well. And the rest of the map is essentially quiet. What is he building? Is he building... Okay, if he had battle cruiser tech, which actually I think he does, and was building battle cruisers, that is one way that, I mean, if you just kind of like drop out 2 battle cruisers into the middle of this fight, that is one way that you can start winning. Let's just quickly take a look at the resources tab. Okay, there just isn't the money. So, okay, wow, yeah, so I mean, A-Game takes this then, absolutely takes this. Discara pushing in here, felt obligated to try and make a move, which I'm going to think about whether that was necessary in a second, but after the game ends, but I'm not convinced that that was a necessary move. And now this is an exchange that the Gaussian carrier can totes win. You just keep your power into like repairs and weapons basically, and you can bring down this Coalition carrier just through sheer weight of fire. Wow, is he in adaptive armor? Yeah, look how much of a hard nut the Coalition carrier can be if it wants to be. And now a battle cruiser joins the battle. Hang on now. A-Game might have to think twice now. The adaptive armor actually just adds so much armor that this Coalition carrier is winning this exchange, like, by enough of a margin that it's going to win, especially now that the DPS of this battle cruiser is here. Oh, this is what I mean. Okay, he does drop out a battle cruiser into the middle of the fight. And suddenly the DPS war, now favoring the coalition player as these shells are broadsiding into the Galzian carrier. He has max power into maneuverability right now, just desperately trying to shirk any shells he can and gets out of range of the battle cruisers. Now he can shift a little bit of power into repairs. This is why the Galzian carrier is so scary. Look at that. It's able to escape, and then as soon as he shifts power into repairs, like, the repair speed is real. It is, like, terrifying. So, okay, now we have this super weird late game where A-game is winning by 1 artifact, but Discara has 1 going out, and that could become relevant because that's like the tiebreaker here. If this is if these players can't actually bring this battle to a conclusion, it will come down to artifacts. A-game still frantically scurrying away here. What an awesome late game! I thought A-game absolutely had that, but Discara with the adaptive armor and dropping battle cruisers out into the fight is able to. I mean, it's able to recover this. So the repairs are going to be slow-ish on the coalition carrier. It's not the speediest of repairs. It normally relies on its sort of tailing army of support cruisers, but they aren't actually here. This siege cruiser still alive? Uh-oh. Kind of been forgotten about, perhaps? I mean, it's not in the worst of positions, but it is going to be cornered. And so, I mean, there's not really very much money for either player. Having said that, Discara is actually mining fluently now for 2 locations, so suddenly, what a turnaround. This game actually looks like it's Discara's now. Wow. Jeez. Did I misjudge that fight? I really did misjudge that fight, you know? Just absolutely crazy. The coalition carrier able to just dump into adaptive armor, and then that prevented the kill, and then the battle cruisers show up, and then that is enough DPS to turn the exchange. And what can A-game do here? Just run. But that's not enough to win. So he's just going to keep running. Did he just salvage his own production cruiser? I believe so. So what's the plan here? Are we just going to build siege cruisers and keep running? That doesn't seem like enough. Oh, he's stopped. I don't know about stopping here. That only seems bad. Yeah, that's a GG, right? Wow. Okay. That's crazy. What a game. What a weird end game. I love it. This is why we love Deserts of Karak, man. There's just so many moving pieces and so many interesting interactions. And, wow. Discara, you've got to respect the coalition carrier shove. When that coalition carrier shoves, it is dangerous because you're never just fighting the coalition carrier. You're always fighting the next 2 units that are about to drop out of it. And that's what makes it so scary. It builds so fast, and it builds 2 things at the same time. And that's terrifying in a fight. And the adaptive armor, as we saw, just able to tank and tank and tank. And wow, that is a fantastic game here played by these 2 players. What a pleasure to watch. What a pleasure to cast. Really, really enjoyed that. Fantastic stuff. Cool. All right, so I'm going to bring you all back to a picture of my face. See, that's why I love Homeworld Deserts of Karak. It has to be one of the best RTSs of all time. It just has to be. Like, the games are consistently so epic and close. Alrighty. Okay, so we're going to update the stream information because we're going to cast some Company of Heroes 2. Right, let's jump on in and hope that we've got a good game at the top of the live game lobby today. Pardon me. We had a couple of good ones last week. We had a Storm Tiger game that was really fun. And another couple of good games as well. So, looking forward to seeing what we're going to get. Okay. Alrighty. Let's have a look here. We've got Elpern and PFC on Langriskaya. That's got to be good. Hoi Jimmy 890 and some Kanji on Crossroads and some other stuff going on. Well, I'm going to jump into that Langriskaya game immediately. That looks like the one we wanted. It's also got Soviet forces, which that makes me a happy magpie. Alrighty then. So let's jump on in to the Company of Heroes 2. Time are we? I have to be very mindful of the time, unfortunately, because I'm just so busy. Basically, as soon as my casting window is done, I have to hop on the motorcycle and start riding around town, dropping errands and dropping paperwork off at various places, and it's work is back on, basically. Okay. Oh, let's going on here? There we go. A little bit of a glitch. So, spawning in the north here, playing as the Overcommand West forces, it is going to be Elpern on Langrskaya, and spawning in the south, playing as the Soviet forces, it's PFC. And looks like we've got a pick straight away here coming out for Elpern. It's going to be the Elite Armored Doctrine. So, looks like we could once again have a Storm Tiger game. That would be exciting for me. I do love a good Storm Tiger game. And I love this commander now. The way the community balance team have redesigned it and rebalanced it is really sweet. It's interesting in all stages of the game, and it feels powerful but not, busted. So, I mean, this commander is really in a sweet spot right now. I think it's awesome. So standard stuff so far from these two players. It's a techless conscript-based style to define the opening stages here of PFC's Soviet game. And for Elpern, we've just got the standard issue, what you're used to seeing, Volks coming on out here for the OKW player. So as these two players, I don't know, go on out to sort of clash about the map, I'm going to have a think here. What have I been... Have I got anything interesting to talk about? But see, this is the funny thing about being in lockdown. And I know that the UK and England, where I live, is not in lockdown anymore, but we are still in a global pandemic. England is still suffering from this virus worse than any other country in Europe. And we still have more cases, and the infection rate is climbing again because they've reopened everything because money's really good. And so, I mean, personally, because I don't want to get the virus, because I've looked at the statistical data and there are significant increased lifetime risks of various things that I'd like to avoid. Plus, of course, the percentage chance of death just for getting it, which I'd also like to avoid. So I'm still playing it super cautious myself personally, avoiding contact and just trying to do everything I can to insulate myself from it. So what tends to happen when you're treating life as I am is that you speak to someone you haven't spoken to for a couple of weeks or whatever, and they're like, yo buddy, how's it going, man? Like, what's been happening? And I'm just like, yo, nothing. It's like, what have I been doing? I don't know, mostly just working. Work has been keeping me really busy. And I've also been painting a lot of Warhammer stuff, because Warhammer 40,000 9th edition is out, and that is actually one of the few social things that I am doing, because you can play Warhammer in a socially responsible, socially distant way. So that's really cool. That has been keeping me largely sane, actually. It's been really cool. I've got a sweet army that I am just about to finish, and good God, am I happy with the way it looks. All those hours of painting are coming in. So, looks like we've got some initial skirmishes here, and it appears that the German forces are holding strong here. Volksgrenadiers and Storm Pioneers able to take a handy fight against conscripts, as we're kind of used to seeing, to be honest. Conscripts are a little outclassed by this German infantry. They can beat the German infantry, of course, especially before machine guns and such show up. I'm going to throw down some shoe mines here in a nice position. But that fight just came together very nicely there, and PFC will be obliged to yield the field to Elpern. Elpern going to be following up with a 221 scout car, and that will be diversifying his roster very nicely. And momentarily here, we're going to see what the tech choice is going to be, for what the intentions are for the contents of this Schwervermacht Schlepper half track. So, okay, here comes the 221. One coming out now. And a rough opening for PFC, to be sure, but we do have some engineers out here who hopefully are going to grab this fuel point, although actually, to be honest, that seems like a great target for the 221 to come and police first of all. But no, looks like the 221 is actually going to try and come in and keep the pressure on the Soviet side of the map. So here comes the 221 scout car now. A couple of flamethrowers are finishing up here for the Soviet units, well, one flamethrower at least, so that's a much needed source of DPS. And finally the German vanguard is broken here. They will have to fall back, and PFC will have a little bit of room to breathe here, connect up the southwest side of the map, and kind of pick themselves back up. I'm hoping that we'll see a tech choice in the next couple of minutes here for the Soviet player, because it always makes me a little bit nervous when Soviet players try to persist too long techless. We're not in that window yet, but we're getting there. Now, it's going to be a Battle Group at HQ opening for our OKW player. So, Well, I mean, I haven't been casting as much Company of Heroes 2 as usual recently, but I feel like the Mechanized Regiment Battle Gripper HQ sort of split is like fairly even these days. I don't know. Because I haven't been casting too many games over the last month, really, so it's hard to say. But I feel like I'm almost as likely to see Battle Gripper HQ as I am to see Mechanized Regiment HQ if you just like choose a random map. If you just like assume the map is like a variable. If you actually choose a map, then I reckon you might start seeing shifts one way or the other, because I definitely think that some maps favour Mechanized, some maps favour Battle Gripper, but like, if you don't know what the map is, I reckon, or if you're considering the data across all maps, I think OKW players are using both these buildings quite a lot. Kind of like the American officers, like the lieutenant and the captain are like in such a good state of balance right now, it's really cool. So, anyway. Extended skirmishes are going to be going on here as these two players continue to try to establish dominance over the middle area of the map. That is, of course, the key to Langrisquire. Such a small map with the crucial victory points that you need to hold on to clustered so very close together. Probably one of the only maps in the game where like 2 of the victory points are literally this close. I mean, look at that. It's like about 10 or 8 seconds movement with an infantry squad. It's like, it's pretty close. So if you hold that area, it's pretty good. So looks like a bit of a score line advantage opening up here for PFC, and that is nice. The tech building, of course, has come down, so the sport weapon camp and I are now established, the options therein provided to PFC. And I wouldn't hate a Maxim. That's going to be useful against the scout car to some extent, and also just to control this German infantry. Some STGs popping up on them as well now. So yeah, I wouldn't hate a Maxim. A mortar is probably also fine, but I feel like a Maxim would be the way forward. That's a really nice way to support quad conscript with double flamer NG. But we'll see exactly what the intentions are going to be here for PFC. Let's have a look at the commanders on the roster here. We've got Soviet Airborne. Still a favourite of mine, but not as spicy as it once was for sure. It's going to be a flak half-track, by the way, here for Elpan, so that's nice. Very interesting unit to see. You've got the Guard Rifle Combined Arms Tactics. Yeah, this is a commander that I'm always really sceptical on, but occasionally it does surprise me. The KV-1 is legit a good unit nowadays. It just is a good unit. It's a fine tank to be using. Guards Rifle Infantry are useful. The PPSHs on your conscripts are useful. The ML-20, especially on a small map like this, is very useful. And you get the IL-2 Sturmovik attack, which is pretty formidable. So a really weird generalist all-rounder package, which actually kind of gives you tools for all phases of the game. And I mean, if you're confident playing that commander, it can be a very strong one. So that's fine. And we've got the urban defense tactics. My bad. Which is another interesting commander. We just never see forward HQ be any good, and I wish that forward HQ was a thing that we could see in this game. But I mean, apart from that, you get the KV2, which is really nice. Conscripts here going to spam an URA, but it will not be spam. Can you spam one URA? But yeah, it's not going to be enough. So yeah, they're going to have to fall back. They're trying, of course, to get the anti-vehicle grenade onto the 223 command scout car as it is now. Oh, possibility of another URA here. Oh, it pops smoke, but the anti-tank grenade does connect. The smoke there a moment too late. The 223 straying too close to those conscripts. Remember now, the Foog radio set has been constructed. That is 15 fuel and 100 manpower, so quite the prize now. It would be nice to pick up the stricken scout car if possible. The flak half-track is here to cover it, though. An URA comes down, but it looks like PFC thinks better of it, knows that he's unlikely to get on top of this 221 now, that the flak half-track is here to cover. Flak half-track here getting set up in a nice position, but a Ziskan actually was the first unit out. Okay, well, obviously this makes a lot of sense. The Ziskan is going to be very potent here, and that's going to actually control the flak half-track here, and mid-map control is going to fall into Soviet hands, which I cannot say I'm sorry to see. So nice. Hey, Sedgehammer, what's going on, friend? Good to see you in chat. Looks like we've got a bit of a quiet day today. We've got sub 10 viewers, but I mean, what can I say? Casting at midday on a Monday when most countries are out of lockdown does mean that most people are probably working somewhere. So I guess most of you are going to be catching this on YouTube, in which case, hey, welcome to the YouTube channel. Yeah, so far we've got a really nice high-level game of Company of Heroes 2 here. All of the pieces, all of the tactics, all of the action, it's all coming together nicely here. No massive blunders. This has just been pretty clean play here from both players. So Storm Pioneer is going to hook up with the Foog radio geezer. That's going to repair that one. We've seen this many a time now on Langrisquire. In fact, I think, to be honest, this is following quite similarly to the last game we had on Langrisquire, where it was also, I believe, Elite Armor Doctrine. It was Foog Radio, because it's so useful. You can just post it up here for the bonus fuel. And then you have the Storm Tiger for the... and on such a small map, the Storm Tiger is actually like disproportionately more powerful because it threatens such a large area. And so I really hope that we're able to move into a Storm Tiger late game here for Alpern. That would be sweet. I always love casting that unit. Working is so 2019. Tell me about it, bro. I wish I didn't have to. Did I just assume your gender? Yes. Yes, I did. Yeah, man. Ooh. Although, to be honest, since this year I'm doing more work than almost ever before. Working is, in fact, so 2020 for Magpie. Anyway, ooh, Storm Pioneer's here. Hanging around, taking a lot of damage here. This Flamethrower is doing a lot of good. T70, by the way, comes down onto the queue, so it's going to be a T70 game for PFC. Tank V Battalion, of course. The tech there. And nice fight being taken, but I mean, if you look at the map, that tells the story. Triple cap for Soviet forces here. So Germans are going to start trying to redress that situation, but safe to say PFC doing a good job here of trading pretty well. Gets out of the incendiary grenade very nicely. Remember, there are shoe mines. Oh, sorry, that's a Soviet mine. That's a TM-35 mine. Garrisoning the choke between mid and west CPs there. So that's nice. Can mines garrison? I don't mean garrison. That is not the correct word for that. Oh, Ziskan Barrage! Cheeky Ziskan Barrage! Oh, could have gotten a squad wipe there, but the spread not quite lucky enough for PFC, so the lone Volks Grenadier will be able to fall back for Alpern. That would have been an unlucky squad wipe, but there was a moment there where I thought it might come through. God knows I've lost enough German squads to stray Ziskan Barrage shells. So the Ziskan continuing to provide value here. How much is that barrage nowadays? 35 muni, not too bad. Okay, Kettenwerfer, present and correct. Gonna deflect the T-70, immediately biffs that unit on the nose. Not the start in life you want for your Soviet light tank, but these things happen, and I'm sure some engineers will be along to repair that one momentarily. Looks like the 223 command car is going to garrison now the fuel sector, as that does... I think that's got to provide increased fuel income, right? This is a unit, to be honest, that I've almost never used because they rebalanced it really after the time that I was playing the most Company of Heroes, so I'm not actually immediately au fait with how this resource garrison ability... Well, here we go. Just says increases resource gain. Well, I assume it gives you more if you garrison a fuel sector than a regular sector. Okay, so the T-70... going to be pushing out onto the field here. Where is the Kettenwerfer? The Kettenwerfer was actually out in the east of the map, so he gets set up here. He's going to donk into the flank of this T-70 here. No, not firing. Gosh, that's a bit weird. I don't know why it didn't fire there. Wow. Well, so then the T-70 gets away with it. Ziskan here is going to acquire the flak half-track. This Kettenwerfer... T-70 is going to slip away again, so it's dominating this Axis infantry. That Ziskan finding some nice hits there, finds the 223 as well, so going to grab itself a Star of Veterancy, and that's nice. And the Soviet assault looks to be coming together actually very nicely. Flamethrower engineers here will be able to defend the Ziskan. This squad of Volks is in a potentially troublesome position, and they will win the exchange against these conscripts, and when they do, they could swing upwards into the Ziskan, so that's got to be a problem. Alpern needs to think of a solution for that in due course. Storm Pioneers here going to try for some close-range DPS, but with the T-70 there, it's just they don't have the staying power, and I mean the majority of the Axis units are now concentrated in the Axis base, and he loses the flak half-track, so Alpern here taking real and severe damage at the hands of PFC's ruthless Soviets. Oh, the clustering of targets here! The Ziskan barrage comes down. Please, dear God, let that hit. No, please. Where he looks like he's targeting it a bit far forward. Yeah, I think he targeted it like here, and it's messing. The tree is like messing with this barrage. Oh no! See, now the Ziskan is exposed. This is what I was a little bit worried about. Looks like the Volks Grenadiers down here. No, they are still active. Okay. Oh, low squad of Volks Grenadiers there. The focus fire coming down. Now a low squad of conscripts. They will also be able to escape. So a tense moment there for both players. Another Ziskan barrage. PFC loving it right now. But you need to get the Ziskan out. He's not going to be able to. That's a problem. So we're going to lose the Ziskan. And if that hardware falls into German hands, that could be really annoying. So some Volks Grenadiers, you could see they were thinking about going for that Zis gun. Sorry, I can just hear a really loud vehicle outside. I hope it's not catching on the mic. Oh, the T-70 there, escaping death. Don't reverse! Oh my god! Okay, he's going to reverse, but that's because he knows the Kettenwerfer is flustered. Stun grenade comes down from the Storm Pioneers to prevent the recrew. Hoorah for the AT grenade, but they stay too long. That'll be a conscript squad for sure. The focus fire here from Elpern will come through. And PFC, there we go. PFC beginning to show a little bit of mortality here, a little bit of weakness. I mean, it was nice picking up the flak half track and he looked strong there, but this last phase of play has been pretty Axis dominated. Losing the Zis gun, losing a conscript squad, so I think it's safe to say Elpern redressing the balance of power here, gonna steal the Zis gun. Ooh. Oh. And gonna be grabbing an MG34. Oosh. Suddenly things looking okay for the Axis player. The one thing that's not looking okay for Elpern is, of course, the scoreline. Down at 280, under 481. That's a tough place to be. Did he just grab another conscript squad? Ooh. I don't know, but it might not matter if this level of brutality keeps up, man. Oh, the Zis gun barrage. How do you like that, PFC? Elpern literally turning them tables and giving the Soviet player a taste of their own Zis-related medicine. And that is a dominating display. Elpern needs to take the map now. So we get boots onto one of the VPs. We need to get boots onto the others because this amount of victory of scoreline attrition, this represents time essentially for PFC to repair themselves and get themselves back in the fight. 2 squads of conscripts on the queue is a great place to start. Let's check the tech here. Mechanized armor Campania is done. We actually have a reasonable amount of fuel. I feel like I actually wouldn't hate a... You know what, I was about to say I wouldn't hit a KV-1 pick, but your opponent already has Kettenwerfer Zis gun, so you're really just feeding value into those units at this point. So maybe not that. But Guards infantry would also be okay, but you've just bought double conscript, so I don't think it's particularly efficient to go for that either, so I don't know. I mean, basically I was considering, like, is it time to pick Guard Rifle Combined Arms Tactics? Because you have the KV-1, you have the Guards Rifle Infantry, you have the PPSHs to help your conscripts there. It just seems like this might be a moment to pick that commander, but I don't, on balance, on reflection, I actually don't think that sufficient value is there. So PFC going to tough it on with no commander here. What is this? Oh, there's a Kettenwerfer up for grabs here. Oh, he would love to grab that. He would love to grab that. Is there any way we can get a conscript? Let's get these 6-man conscripts up onto that. We need that. The MG34 is actually not in the hood. Okay, it's over here, so if we can grab this Kettenwerfer, that would be huge. Because what are these conscripts doing? They're just idle. Obviously, it would be great if these conscripts could grab their Kettenwerfer. Oh no, but now Axis forces are here with Overwatch. There was definitely a window, I feel like, where those conscripts could have done it. And that would have been really nice. Oh god, he loses the T-70 as well. It is abandoned, but that is as good as lost. Here comes the 223 scout car. Wow, he's using this 223 scout car, continuing to use it so aggressively here. The Zis gun going to finish off the T-70. And now the MG34 just continuing to be a thorn in PFC's side. How are we going to recover from this? The infantry roster has recovered, and the fact that your opponent has the Zis gun and the Kettenwerfer again, actually those 2 units are not super useful because the Soviet player just doesn't have any vehicles. So I mean, if you take off those 2 units, it is now MG Storm Pioneers, quad Volks Grenadier, and a 223 against quad conscript double NG. Now that doesn't look great for PFC, who's gone ahead and chosen a commander, but it is at least a playable position. The Axis army is way more sophisticated. It has just better tech. It's always difficult using any kind of conscript engineer-based composition with no other technicality to the army against any Axis list that has an MG in it. So it's going to be tough here. It's going to be tough. If PFC can somehow grab that MG, that would turn this around. But we'll have to see. 7-man conscript upgrades beginning to pop up now. Pardon me. That's what I get for drinking fizzy drinks while casting. Yeah, 7-man conscript upgrade is going to come down, so that is going to be some help. And PFC is clearly saving for the KV-2, and that is actually very nearly affordable. Oof. That would actually help here a little bit, although I do feel like it just kind of provides a target for those AT weapons. But the KV-2 has a range that it can actually still be useful. So the way these players are navigating the game, I mean, Schwerpanzer HQ comes down. Oh, Storm Pioneers. Nah, they're going to slip away. Okay, it's Panzer IV. Okay, I was going to say. So Schwerpanzer HQ is finished. The Axis player was banking up an amount of fuel. It was difficult to see exactly what the tech choice was going to be, but a Panzer IV makes a lot of sense. It keeps the pressure on very hard. It can exploit and kill a KV-2. I mean, the KV-2 does not have rapid turret rotation at all. So if you can get that Panzer IV around to the sides or rear of the turret, well, then the KV-2 ought to be dead. I mean, there's not really much else that can save the KV-2 if that happens. Siege mode gets enabled here on the KV-2, so that is now in siege mode. I don't know why it's not firing. There we go. Now we see that lumbering turret is going to turn and acquire. Volks Grenadiers there, taking the brunt of the shell. And I have to say, I mean, whilst the unit compositions definitely favour the Axis player, the scoreline is still favouring the Soviet player. And this KV-2 is going to be kind of a bit of a bastard, to be honest, at least until the Panzer IV is out, which it is now. Because this is just annoying. When's the rate of fire upgrade? It never gets one. Huh. Well, that sucks. Alright, that Kettenwerfer now being annoying. Going to take a shell to the face for its troubles, but it is going to work down the KV-2. Engineer's actually just going to sit and repair. Fair enough. Here comes the Panzer IV, though, and this is the problem. There's nothing to stop the Panzer IV. Oh, this is the problem. You can't win this. You cannot win this. There's no way. Yeah, this is the problem. And I believe that should just be game. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not necessarily game, but it's certainly terrible. Conscripts managed to get the anti-vehicle grenade. Come on! Oh, that was the kill shot. He had to kill it with that one, and he didn't. So you've got to stalk the Panzer. You actually just are obliged to stalk the Panzer with your conscripts until their AT grenade is off cooldown. But I mean, the triple cap was established again. He needs to oorah this tank down. He has to pick up this Panzer IV if there's going to be any hope of survival in this game. How many munitions are we on? Enough. There's the AT grenade. Did that just not die? Okay, no, he does get it. Okay. Okay, alright, so we trade the KV-2 for the Panzer IV. Obviously, not the best for the Soviet player there. A rather efficient trade for Elpern, who, whilst trailing on the scoreline, is still doing pretty well on... oh god, this Gun barrage! Still doing pretty well in terms of actual unit composite. There's a flamethrower here. Those Volks Grenadiers would love to have that. A Maxim has actually finally been purchased here for PFC, which I really appreciate. I think Langreskaya is a super good map for MGs generally, and I think this is a good time to have an MG. But unfortunately, it is fighting unsupported against Volks here. It gets burned up in that incendiary grenade, and this is looking rough now for PFC. Not the end of the world, and there is enough time to work with here. 468 tickets and bleeding slowly over 176. I mean, that is, near as makes no difference, a 300 ticket lead. You can definitely make things happen with that, even if you're this far behind. But it's going to take some grit, some determination. This is going to be a pretty disadvantageous position to have to fight from here. How are these Soviet forces achieving so much out on the map here? Testament to PFC that using what is quite a simple army composition is able to get so much done. So that's, you know, that's pretty cool. So how well is Elpern going to be able to garrison the middle of the map here? Yo, what up, Jono? You know it, buddy. Of course, there's a Monday Magpie stream. Yeah, man. Yeah, I don't know if you caught the last stream, but hang on, we'll talk about that in a second because there's going to be a little bit of action occurring here. Soviet forces attempt to recap mid. They do get it decapped, so that's nice. But the Gun barrage. Ooh, how many times has this Gun used barrage this game? I feel like we're up to like 8-9 times already now for both players combined. I mean. Yeah, Jono. Yeah, I don't know if you tuned in for last week's Monday stream, but I've been super busy, man. Work is just pouring down on me, so that's made it really, really tough to cast as much as I was before. So at the moment, what I'm trying to do is solidly do a Monday cast, and then any other time I get, I'll be casting with that. But Monday is that's the one I'm really trying to schedule in and make sure I definitely have enough time for. So yeah, buddy. We're casting on Monday. Ooh, what was that? Okay, looks like some mines here going to take out a couple of these Storm Pioneers. Got a T-34 on the queue, and that is actually going to be okay for a little while, it appears. That T-34, there just isn't quite the fuel for an answer immediately in terms of a fuel unit for the Axis player. Still got the Zis gun and the Kettenwerfer, and of course that is more than enough to cobble together a kill on the Soviet medium, though. So PFC going to have to use that tank carefully, but as long as they do, could go on to achieve great things. So MG34 stationed in a decent position in mid. Flamethrower here actually going to take advantage of this opportunity to get up on top of it and start burninating some Deutschlanders. The T-34 circling around looking for an opportunity to engage in mid. You've got to be careful though, because you know that's where your opponent's AT resources are. So he's actually going to flank that one round into the west of the map, which I do like. MG34 gets the MG34. That would be a lovely pickup. If you grab that MG, this game starts being so much more approachable. Those conscripts, they're thinking about it. They're thinking about it. Come on, buddy, get him. No, the Zisgun barrage is going to be the end of this though. He wants the VP more than the machine gun, knowing that there's a Zisgun barrage as well. And I do think that makes sense, especially when your opponent is on 175 and you are pushing them so hard. But, okay, there we go. Axis forces are going to re-grab the MG. He's focusing them, though. The T-34 comes in just in the nick of time, and the MG goes down again. So, I like this. I really like this, because if he's able to grab the MG-34, that is so much wind out of the sails of Elpern, and a double MG at this moment in time for PFC would be great. It would be so good. Already you can feel the power of the Maxim. Actually, Incendiary, as I say that, it gets burned out, but you know, machine guns are what it's all about when you're trying to control Langrskaya as victory points. And that is exactly the name of the game for PFC. PFC is going for the win in the next 10 minutes if possible, trying to choke out Elpern rapidly. So the Maxim is dackering, and look how much work it's doing. It's very useful at just suppressing and keeping infantry out of this very important cone of area. A conscript squad was lost over that last phase of play. I did miss that happening, but that is taxing again for PFC. And there's the very real danger. Oh no, Storm Pioneers, 5-star Storm Pioneers, and a Zisgun barrage. But it's actually not enough. The T-34 will deflect the Storm Pioneers. Jeez. This is tooth and nail stuff here. PFC is fighting so hard. Oh my god, and these suppressed Axis units are getting chewed up by the T-34. They have to get out of there. Yikes. How is PFC able to hold on? Because the thing is, every time PFC holds on like this, PFC is losing a couple of units, and the Axis units are just not dying. Look how many stars of veterancy they have, you know? And if you just keep losing your core infantry, you will lose the game, right? So he has to win before that. And now with another Panzer IV coming out, this is a new skin for me, actually. I don't recognize this one. It's pretty cool. Anyway, yeah, with the Axis units, I mean, can you really win this one, PFC? It doesn't feel winnable to me. But I mean, I'm glad I caught this game. I mean, geez, this has been some good back and forth Company of Heroes action here. And it's nice to see we're in this weird situation where each player has their own advantage. Elpern has the far superior army, much better equipped, much bigger, just better in every way, to be honest, in a straight fight. And then, you know, PFC's advantage is that they've been putting so much effort into forcing the German player out of the game on scoreline. Whoa, Panzer IV. What? This seems too aggro. You're going to lose your Panzer IV for this. Did you need to do that? Well, it's a medium tank exchange. Oh no. Okay, he's able to... okay, sorry. The Panzer IV was obviously abandoned there for a second. Hero Rakettenwerfer going to give its life. Look at this German. He's just running away towards the Soviet base. Okay, then. A little bit shell-shocked and disorientated there. Oh, it's Asia Mint? Oh, okay. Well, there we go. Thanks for letting me know. But yeah, so the heroic Rakettenwerfer comes in here, and you know, picks up the kill on the Panzer IV chassis, because to let that fall into Soviet hands would be disastrous. So But that is still going to give a Rakettenwerfer to PFC, which will be gladly taken at some point. And because, I mean, PFC just kind of, I mean, that's a cheap unit, right? And PFC just needs cheap units. You know, a Rakettenwerfer is still boots on ground. It can still capture points. And that's actually, PFC just needs units right now. So I feel like picking up that Rakettenwerfer should be on the agenda here. Now, Volksgrenadier is going to make contact onto West. And the German force is not under the clock right now. 123 tickets, though, is precariously low. And we're just going to have to see exactly what the Axis player is obliged to do to stay in this game as things go forward. The Soviet player just has the far inferior army, but the Axis player is obliged to take bad fights with their kind of superior army. But I mean, without the Panzer IV, this is definitely doable. I mean, it's not great, but it's doable. And only one of these players has an MG right now, actually. The Maxim is... and that is massive. I mean, this is Langriskaya. Machine guns, as I keep saying, are very good at doing what PFC wants to do, which is controlling the victory points. He pushes the Volks off of West. Soviet force is going to re-grab that. And now, Elpern, back under the clock. Yeah, it's a slow bleed, but it's still a bleed. And it could be a quick bleed pretty soon. Yeah, you can see immediately PFC is like, nope, I need to prioritize grabbing this. More conscripts going to come down anyway to grab this point, but this is nice. I'm loving what I'm seeing. And now it looks like Elpern obliged to try and defend this point, but that means that the bleed will continue because Axis units are not attacking the other 2 points. So this is kind of a win for PFC. And now the T-34, this is the second T-34, of course, going to rotate in and just push back all this infantry. Now the Zis gun is set up here, but it won't be enough to put together a kill on this Soviet medium by itself. And I mean, these Volksgrenadiers are going to stay as long as they can, I guess, but they will have to yield. And as soon as they do, there are conscripts waiting. Ura is spent just to get onto this point as rapidly as possible. PFC here, the priorities are clear, and tooth and nail, it is continuing to be a hold here. But now the fearsome Sturmtiger with its redonkulous, what is it, like 380mm rocket firing bastard launcher or whatever. Like, it's a stupid gun that thing has. It's been a while since I read the Wikipedia actually about this unit, but like, wasn't the gun like initially designed for like naval combat or something totally stupid? They took it from something else. Like, it's opportunity here. Okay, there we go. Not gonna take triple cap. Oh, triple cap. 85 tickets and counting. We need the Storm Tiger to do a thing now, and it's gonna fire. Oh, the conscripts survive though. Anytime you fire a Storm Tiger anywhere near a victory point, you can 100% guarantee the shell is going to glitch out. And I think there it detonated just too early. It like clipped onto the edge of the geometry of this hole here, and it detonated about there instead of about there. And I bet you Elpern clicked there, man. Storm Tigers, if you're firing them anywhere near any kind of capture point, that rocket will glitch out. It always does. So that is unfortunate for the Axis player. The triple cap will be re-established, and Storm Tigers are powerful. They are very powerful, but they take a long time to reload. And is he not reloading? Oh no, every second wasted here is going to be critical. That could be a game-ending failure to reload, to be honest. Oh, that's yikes. I feel like Elpern is probably AFK right now. I think Elpern's probably walked away. No, Elpern's just microing at the front. I mean, not reloading the Storm Tiger is crucial. There's the only way you're ever going to dislodge these Soviet units off these points is by using the scare potential of the Storm Tiger, and it has no scare potential. I mean, I guess it still has scare potential. You can pretend it's reloaded. I mean, your opponent doesn't know it's not reloaded. To be honest, that actually might have been a worthy bluff, but we're too late. We're just too late, I believe. Oh, have I spoken too soon? Hang on now. Axis boots get onto mid. Axis boots are gonna get onto west. Axis boots are not gonna get onto east though. And is this quick enough? Soviet forces come through to contest, and that's the winning move. PFC here. Nearly called him KFC. PFC here. Doing Soviets' work. And that is a handy win. And here comes the ram. Donk. Haha, take that. Yeah, Storm Tiger. But that's the end of the game. There is no way that Elpern can possibly retrieve this. Nice game. Wow. PFC I feel like increasingly Allied players are understanding that just because the Axis player has a bigger and better army, it actually doesn't necessarily mean that they get to use it in a way that wins the game. Because if you just keep pressuring them somehow, however that is, in this game we saw PFC able to continue pressuring the victory points along the midline on the map. And this is Langruskaya, so it's a very usable strategy on this map. If you're able to keep doing that, I mean, it didn't actually matter that for most of this game, the Soviet army was outnumbered by better units. I mean, usually in an RTS, if that's the case, you usually die, and that's it, and the game's over. But here in Company of Heroes, able to just keep on applying scoreline pressure, and in a game where it feels like Elpern kind of essentially won on the battlefield, like the Axis units were basically owning for 80% or 70% of that game. But PFC wins with a scoreline of 391-0 because of smart positional play and obliging the Axis player to have to keep trying to take bad fights or not be able to use the advantages of their army. And that's just really cool, if I'm honest. I love it. It's PFC's like perception of what the priorities in that game were and the decision making to support that was spot on. There were a couple of times there where I was like, oh, he really should grab that weapon or he should really do that, but he was just always prioritizing the victory points, even at times where I thought surely you want to be doing just one other quick thing. But you know, PFC just laser focused and it worked. Lovely to see. Magnificent stuff. Well, what a pleasure to cast. Well, unfortunately, that's all I've got time for today. I have to go and get on the motorbike and start running errands and dropping off paperwork and doing other fun things. So yeah, I'm gonna get to that. I'll be casting next Monday, and if I get time in the week, and I might this week, because it's looking a little bit less busy than in the last few weeks, then I'll be casting then. If I am casting during the week, I will put up a notification on Twitter and on the YouTube page on the community section in the sort of little comments bit there. And if you come here to the twitch.tv/magpie842, if you scroll down, there's like a little Twitter widget. So even if you don't follow Twitter, because to be honest, why would you? Then you can get the notification about that there. So, but if I don't get to cast in the week, I will be casting next Monday. What will that be? The 24th. And I look forward to seeing you all there. Thanks very much, everyone, for tuning in. Really appreciate it. I know we didn't have so many viewers today, but we still got to a good number. And, you know, it's Monday, it's midday, everybody's working again. And yes, Jono, at least it is fun on the bike. Good God, it's fun on that bike, man. 200 cc's of pure Japanese fury. It is... Yeah, is one of my favorite parts about my job is that I get to just rant around the city on that lovely motorbike. Anyway, take care, everybody. Have a great week. Stay safe wherever you are. And I will be coming at you in 7 days at the latest. Have fun. Bye-bye. Oh, I can't not answer this question. What bike is it? You can Google it, mate. It's a Suzuki Van 200cc. It is just the best bike that humans have ever made. And with that, I bid ye farewell.